What's up, people of the world? It's me again, Alex Swimmer, aka AP3 Jumped, and today I'm reviewing Rocko's Modern Life Static Cling. So yeah, let's get started, shall we? And yeah, the acoustics in this closet are very weird. So my voice keeps reverberating on itself with how small this freaking well, small for a room. It's a big closet as it is, but also one of these days I'm going to have a filming space in my apartment with good lighting. Anyway, so Rocko's Modern Life, Static Cling. Now, before I actually talk about the special and what I thought about it, let me talk to you about how sort of the history leading up to the actual release. Now, I first found out about this along with Invader Zim Enter the Florpus. It's just the announcement I just sort of found out about it randomly. It was they had trailers for both of those TV specials at San Diego Comic-Con 2017. That was 2 years ago. That was also the same year that Harold the Jungle movie was announced. And so yeah, both of these were supposed to be TV movies along with the Jungle movie, because that was like, you know, a full-length TV movie. It was an hour and a half with commercials. So I don't know exactly what went wrong. I'll talk about that later, in terms of why it got a Netflix release instead of being TV movies. But nonetheless, they finally showed up on Netflix, and this special it's not like close to 90 minutes. It's like 45 minutes. It was going to be an hour, you know, with commercials. And since it's not on TV anymore, I'm hearing people saying that they could have added some extra content to fill in the time, make it actually close to the length of an hour. But I don't think that was necessary in the long run. But anyway, that makes these two formerly TV movies now just specials. These are the first the Nickelodeon properties to be on Netflix, because for years I've been wanting some kind of Nickelodeon TV series or movies to be on Netflix. I could be wrong about that. Don't quote me on that. Maybe the Jimmy Neutron movie and some other movies that came out at that time were on Netflix at one point. I don't exactly know, but as of course, you know, Cartoon Network and Disney have or still have had or still have content on Netflix. And glad to finally see Nickelodeon content on Netflix. At least not for a very long time. So, yeah, that's it with the behind the scenes stuff. Now, what did I think of the special? What did I think about the whole series? Well, Rocko's Modern Life, even though it's been years and years since I've watched it, it's a very unforgettable show. You know, it's hard to forget it, because I always, even though it's been years, I still have very fond memories with the show, because after I was watching it as a kid, and I wouldn't watch it again until it aired on the Splat, and that was like 2015 when I watched it again, and even then it's still been a very long time. But either way, I still, like I said, I still have very fond memories with the show, and there were things I didn't realize about the show until I became an adult. Number one, I didn't realize how much adult content was actually in the show. And another thing I didn't realize was how current it was and how it reflected, you know, modern day life, like that's in the title. And it was also satirizing it in a way, and Static Cling continues that tradition. It satirizes modern day life, and reflects on all of you know what we know for the 2010s. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I did love Rocko's Modern Life, and I love the characters. I love the style it had in terms of the themes that it had. Now realizing what those themes are, and the art style, of course. Like, this has to be one of the most cartoony cartoons I've ever seen, with the exaggerated expressions and that's I just love stuff like that. And the cool little the cool shape designs for a lot of the stuff, and the abstract looking buildings and O Town as a whole. I just really love the abstract style that the show has always had, and that has not been lost in translation through it being now in HD. Because even though it is in HD, it still looks exactly the same as it used to, with some very minor character design updates for certain characters, I guess. So, yeah, I mean, this special, it was very good. It was very fun to watch, and unlike with Harold the Jungle Movie, there were some episodes I could have watched before watching this to sort of get some context for this episode. Like, I didn't do my homework, so to speak, like I did with the Jungle Movie, but I guess it didn't matter to me for this case, and I guess I needed to do that for Hey Arnold, so I could have complete story context before the Jungle Movie. Anyway, I don't know if I'll do that within. I don't know if I'll do that within Invader Zim. I think I'll just watch it when it comes on, like I did with Static Cling, because honestly, watching Static Cling after not watching the series for a very long time, it sort of feels better that way, I guess, because I get that feeling like I haven't watched the show in a long time, but I still remember all these things about the show, and when they recreated the intro, and they were playing the theme song, and having all the old voice actors again, many of which would go on to be on SpongeBob, by the way, not just Tom Kenny. You have Doug Lawrence and Jill Talley. I completely forgot that Jill Talley was on that show, and they also have the same exact end credit sequence too, and so that's really neat. Yeah, I'm getting into spoiler territory now, but yeah, I should have warned you about that earlier. I apologize. But yeah, this special was it was very meta, like I said, and it was, even though Rocko is supposed to be the main character, it sort of more or less focuses on the big heads, and because I'm getting ahead of myself, but the overall theme for this special and the lesson of this special is to embrace change, and that embracing all change, and honestly, it's a good lesson to learn, because that was one of the things that I had watched. There was a bunch of other animated specials or finales or episodes or whatever that all had similar themes, and that just seems to be a common theme in animated TV now here lately, is that change is inevitable, growing is optional, and it's a real good lesson. And the whole arc with Ralph Bighead now being known as Rachel Bighead, Ralph turning transgender, that whole arc, I feel like that was handled very well and in a very respectable way, because that could have gone completely wrong, that could have gone completely sideways and could have been terribly handled, and that could have been satired along with everything else that was satire that reflects modern day life. But when it comes to this specific thing and that specific arc, I feel like that was the only one that was represented properly and not represented in a satire way. It was handled in a respectable manner, like I said. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure if Rachel Bighead is the first transgender character in a children's show. She might be. I'm not 100% certain on that, but honestly, seeing stuff like that is very refreshing. It's like when I first started seeing gay and lesbian characters in PG shows like Steven Universe and The Loud House are great examples of that. And what used to be known as taboo material is now being represented in... It's not so much taboo anymore, it's real life now, and it reflects on it's not taboo anymore because it can now be reflected in children's media because it can relate. There could possibly be kids relating to these LGBTQ characters, and I really appreciate that. Times have changed. Something I also completely didn't realize was I don't know, I'm so out of breath, and yeah, my phone almost died, so I had to go charge it real quick. So yeah, Rachel Bighead is actually voiced by the creator himself, Joe Murray, which I had no idea. And then I was even more shocked to find out that was his natural voice. I'm like, oh wow, it actually sounds like that in real life. When at first I didn't think his voice does not match his face. It's the same thing when I first it's the same thing when I saw Jane Brix's face. I'm like, his voice doesn't match his face for that either. But over time, I got used to that. So it's just one of those situations, I guess. So that's cool. I always love when the creator of an animated show gets to voice one of the characters, and so yeah, that's really cool. So yeah, I think I'm done actually reviewing this special. It was a great special, and I definitely want to watch it again at some point. Because, yeah, maybe watch those episodes. I know exactly which episodes to watch now for a better context. But I'll do that if I decide to watch this again. But yeah, this was a very fun thing to watch. It was very nostalgic. Hearing all the same voice actors again. It sort of transported me back in time to when I first watched the show, and yeah, so yeah, it's just one of those feelings, and it's what I've been loving about these new specials, like Harold the Jungle Movie 2, and Invader Zim's gonna do the same thing for me, is that watching these, even though it's something brand new, it still feels like it's the same thing I watched like 10, 15 plus years ago, you know what I'm saying? It's just one of those nostalgic feelings, and I always love experiencing that feeling. So yeah, I loved seeing all these old characters return, even though I've completely forgotten some of them, like that superhero, and I can't remember his name, but he always uses his nipples for superpowers, and see, it's been that long since I watched this show, I don't remember every character, or for some characters I do remember, I didn't remember them until after seeing them again. Like there's this one character who's literally just a foot and with a face. Yeah, that was yeah. That just goes to show you the zaniness that this show was and still is. So overall, for anyone who's a fan of Rocko's Modern Life, I highly recommend watching this if you haven't already for some reason, and I'm sure even newcomers will be a fan as well. So yeah, and I saw in a little video today that I found out that Joe Murray is open to the idea of continuing the series, and I've heard other people talking about that the show can still be made in the same exact style that it was back in the day. It could still be made with its original purpose in mind, of reflecting, of a show being current in its time, and reflecting on modern day life, as well as somewhat satiring it to whatever degree, and yeah, they could still do that exact same format, but in the new generation. So that would be fun. With that, I think I'm pretty much done. Joe Murray, he created a very fun show. I also loved Camp Lazlo too, by the way. I liked that just as much on Cartoon Network. And so yeah, one thing I'm not entirely too certain is why these got changed from being just TV movies to being on Netflix. And they're great homes for these programs, this and Enter the Florpus. However, there are theories abound as to why as to why this even happened, especially in the case of Static Cling. One theory is that, well, since the Harold the I can't even talk tonight. Since Harold the Jungle movie apparently didn't do too hot in the ratings department, it was always sort of meant for old fans, that could have persuaded them to put it on Netflix. And hell, even another reason I heard was Ralph turning transgender, and that's also that I've heard people say that might be a reason for it moving over to Netflix. I don't know which of those is true. Both could be true. Or either one could be true, or neither of those things could be true. But I guess they are plausible reasons. Either way, we have Nickelodeon content on Netflix now. So yeah, I've been wanting that forever. So yeah, I am pretty much done with this video because it's gone a little longer than it needed to be. So yeah, if you like this video, then don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and hit the bell to be notified of future videos I make. And let me know what you thought of Static Cling if you have seen it in the comment section below. If you have not seen it, then what the hell are you waiting for? And I'll also be doing my review for all the episodes of Infinity Train. I'm going to do a collective review for that. I have not forgotten about that. And I also plan on doing a review for Enter the Florpus whenever that comes out. It's either coming out this Friday or maybe next week. It's coming out sometime this month. I just don't know exactly when. And for even more animation reviews, I'm continuing my My Little Pony Friendship is Magic reviews every week as well, leading up to the series finale. Yeah, that's going to be a bittersweet day. Anyway, I'm Alex Swimmer, aka AP3 Jumped. Thank you so much for watching until the end. That is it for me, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye. I don't know why I didn't say this earlier, but that special really was a hoot. It really was.